Hi. Tonight we're talking about organization and using care logs, which Richard and I talked about a couple of interviews ago as a means of communication with each other. And then the care log that he's holding up right now, which I'll zoom in on, is one that I created. It's a one-page sheet, and it carries a lot of information just on one page. You can give it to the paramedics when they arrive if you need to call the paramedics. You can also give it to the ER, but it has the carries information, their health insurance information. It has space for medicine, the dosages, and the times given, as well as at the bottom there's other contact people and doctors and specialists. That's where that goes. I personally prefer to use Excel as my spreadsheet go-to program, although you can use Word and just use the table formatting. But Excel is very easy to change and insert new columns and data, so I do prefer to use that. So the other, we have several spreadsheets that we use, and Richard's going to get a different one. This one is for seizures, and what we have on here is Robert has a lot of seizures, so I didn't want to use a blank page for this one. But we have the date column, we have the time of the seizure, we have the duration of the seizure, and then we have a description of what happened during the seizure. And the last column is what happens post-seizure. So sometimes he's confused, sometimes he's not confused. Sometimes he does twitching during the seizure, and we just put all of that information down, and then we actually handwrite it on the log, and then when I go to the neurologist, I have it all typed up and I hand them a copy of it. The next log that we do is just a description of everything going on with Robert, so we can kind of coordinate and compare and figure out what is going on and what all is related. So this is the all symptoms log that I like to call it. I do indicate if there what date it is, if there were any seizures, and then if there's any congestion. Since he's so prone to pneumonia, I keep a congestion column, and then we have another column based on just other common occurrences that happen with him, whether it's a loose bowel or incontinence with the bowels or anything else fuzzy, and that's in the last column. But this kind of runs together. I've modified it over time, but it is very, very helpful. Again, I use Excel for this spreadsheet. The last one is my vitals worksheet, and this is very simple. It's got a date column, it has the time that the vitals were taken, and then what I do is I check on Robert's blood pressure, I check on his temperature, his blood ox level, his pulse rate, and then I put any notes down, whether or not he was on oxygen, whether or not he had just had a seizure, that sort of thing. So all these are meant to keep us as organized as possible. And there's Richard again, and he's on board with me being as organized as possible as well. Do you have any tips, Richard, on these?
Nope, like Trish was saying with the seizures log in the other column, she puts like if we had to give him an Ativan. So then if I come in and I'm looking at the log, I can tell when he's had one, or if I have to give him one when he gets home from program, Trish can see that when she gets home. So we don't go and we don't duplicate medications or anything of that sort. And that's where these logs do come in majorly handy. In the accidentally repeating medications, like she was saying, information to the doctor, to 911 when they get here, which the paramedics are just amazed that she hands them a one-sheet page and it has all his information on it, including meds. So I think it's really good. They're really good to keep up with, and they're not too hard once you get them going.
And Richard uses these for his mom as well, at least the one page distribution document.
And for myself.
And that's true. I have one on Richard as well. He
Yeah.
keeps it up to date and sends it to me. So that's it for tonight. Just keep organized. Keep these logs, and you won't go wrong. So thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.